everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Jordan, or welcome for the first time if this is the first video of mine you're watching. Today's video, we are doing a deep dive into another vitamin or nutrient. I've done a couple of these now, and today I am tackling vitamin B12. Last video I did, I asked you guys if you wanted to see another one of these, and a lot of you wanted to see one on vitamin B12, so that's what we're doing today. I'm going to be sharing with you what it is, why you need it, signs that you might be deficient, and any other really great tidbits that I think are really important, as well as the best sources to get that vitamin. I love doing these videos in kind of like a vlog style. That way you guys get a vlog and I'm not just like talking to you, like teaching you the whole time. I'm just having my breakfast. I've got like a power parfait that I've been making. Let me show you. Some vegan yogurt that was mixed with almond milk and some chia seeds and some protein powder. And I just whisked it up, and that's kind of the base layer. I let it sit for like 10 minutes. Then we've got some hemp seeds, some wild blueberries, some granola. This is like an oat-free granola. Love topping my fruit with some cinnamon. There we go. Now it is perfect. Logging everything I'm eating today, and I'll be putting it into the Chronometer website or the Chronometer app. And then at the end of the day, we'll look and see how much B12 that I consumed and what the top sources were. Okay. Before we move on to lunch, I'm just having a herbal coffee, so it's caffeine free. It's just an herbal coffee and some, hi Jackson, just kind of like a latte, so it's mixed with some soy milk and some stevia. So I thought I would share my first couple facts about B12. Vitamin B12, or also known as cobalamin, is one of the B vitamins. B vitamins are water soluble, which means they absorb in water. You also have fat soluble vitamins like vitamin D that absorb in fat. So vitamin B and all the B vitamins are water soluble. And vitamin B12 is actually a microorganism. Yes, so it is a bacteria. It's found in the dirt, in the soil. It's not something that our bodies make naturally, like whereas with vitamin D, when we're in the sun, like our body naturally makes that. Our bodies don't naturally make the B12 that we need that gets absorbed in the small intestine. Vitamin B12 is found in the colon, so don't get that confused. But the vitamin B12 we need to synthesize and make for ourselves for all our body processes we need from food or from supplements. Traditionally, the way that humans would get vitamin B12 from food would be, you know, they ate dirty things from the ground that had that vitamin B12 in the soil. Nowadays, people get B12 either from supplementing or from animal products. So animals, specifically ruminants. So that would just mean an animal that, you know, digs around in the dirt and eats off of the ground. Those animals can have B12 in their organs. These animals are eating the dirt off the ground. That vitamin B12 is basically being synthesized into the absorbable form of B12 that humans need in the lining of their organs. Why do we need this lovely microorganism, you ask? Entire B vitamin group is essential for regulating our metabolism and supporting the metabolism rate. All the B vitamins also help in producing energy for us to fight infection and disease. Vitamin B12 specifically is imperative for red blood cell formation. So red blood cell formation, DNA synthesis, and our neurological function. Those are three pretty important things, you guys. We need those things to survive. We are not gonna feel good if we don't have those things. B12 is a major part of that, but also, side note, folate or folic acid is also a major player in those things, so make sure you're getting your folate or your folic acid too. I can do a video on that too if you wanna see it. Ooh, all this knowledge is making me thirsty. How do you know if you're deficient in B12? Well, there are some populations that are more likely to be deficient in B12. For example, the older adult or the elderly are more likely to be deficient. That's because over time, you know, as we age, our stomachs produce less hydrochloric acid, and that hydrochloric acid is what aids in digestion and breakdown of molecules so that we can synthesize the vitamins and then absorb them once they hit the small intestine. When we don't have as much of that hydrochloric acid, things can't break down and they don't get absorbed into the body. They just kind of go right through. So the older population does struggle with that, and so they may need to supplement more or just have that checked more often to make sure that they're getting enough. In that same vein, people with digestive disorders that also have trouble with absorption of all different types of minerals, like people with celiac disease, Crohn's disease, anything like inflammatory in the gastrointestinal tract that is keeping an individual from getting the absorption of minerals and vitamins they need. Definitely B12 could be one that they're not absorbing. So that population should definitely have their B12 checked. People with pernicious anemia also lack the intrinsic factor that's needed to digest B12, and that sounds like a big fancy word, but basically they just lack something that is needed for that B12 to get digested or to get absorbed. So if you have ever been diagnosed with pernicious anemia, make sure they're checking your B12. And of course, people following a plant-based diet. So people following vegetarian, vegan diet, or if you just don't eat as much meat, dairy, and eggs because maybe you're not eating those for health reasons. You know, you're trying to decrease saturated fat, decrease cholesterol, whatever it may be. So if you're not getting as much of those things, and I'm gonna talk a lot about animal products as they relate to B12 coming up, but maybe you're not eating as much of those like me who follows a plant-based diet. So we definitely need to be thinking about where we're getting our B12. Signs of deficiency include weakness, just feeling tired, constipation, loss of appetite, weight loss, and also something called megaloblastic anemia, which is different than iron deficiency anemia. So it doesn't mean you're iron deficient. It's just a different type of anemia where your bone marrow is making red blood cells that aren't formed correctly. They're either too large or they're kind of premature or too young. Because those red blood cells are being released and they're not mature or healthy, oxygen isn't being carried through the blood where it needs to go. This type of anemia can be caused by too little B12 or by too little folate. Remember, I talked about how the two are kind of related in a lot of their functions. So if you've ever been told you have megaloblastic anemia, you should definitely be taking B12 or be talking with your doctor about that. But if you've just been diagnosed with anemia, there are different types of anemia, so it's really important to ask your doctor or your healthcare provider what type of anemia you have. Also, more serious symptoms can lead to nerve, issues like numbness and tingling. So those neurological functions can start having an impact. So you could be experiencing like balance issues, maybe even depression, confusion, dementia, sometimes even poor memory. And another interesting symptom is like a sore mouth or a sore tongue. That's just some info to get us started for the day. I'm going to finish this up and get started on making my lunch because I've got to go to work here soon and I want to hurry up and eat before I leave, but I'll definitely be sharing some more facts with you throughout the day. So next up, we're going to be talking about how much we need in a day and how to get it. This is what my lunch is looking like. Got lots of greens in there. And then I chopped up 3 little mini bell peppers. And then I've got 2 barbecue lentil patties, like veggie burgers that I made last night. So that's my source of protein. And then we've got half an avocado that I'm gonna put on there. And then I just made like a dill, just made like a little dill dressing. This is just some tahini, a scoop of hummus, apple cider vinegar, water, and dried dill. And then I'm also going to add some nutritional yeast to talk about some of the main sources of vitamin B12 that I get, and nutritional yeast is one of them. It just has a really delicious, like nutty, cheesy flavor. So I'm just gonna sprinkle that, just like you would add like Parmesan cheese to a salad or feta cheese. I'm just gonna sprinkle that over the salad, probably about a tablespoon. What it's looking like now, it's not as pretty as before, but you can see I sprinkled on the nutritional yeast, and I've just started mixing everything up to get the dressing coated on everything.
And we all sit around the fire. We feel a little warm now.
And we are back. It is now the next day, so I logged everything I ate yesterday, and now we're gonna take a look. But first, I did want to talk about how much vitamin B12 we need in a day. Daily recommended amount of B12 that every individual ages 14 and over needs is anywhere from 2.4 micrograms. Some sources I found said even up to 4 micrograms. A lot of times supplements will have a lot more than 4 micrograms of B12 in there. Your body will just expel what you don't need of the B12 and hold on to whatever it can absorb. If your doctor tells you you are deficient in B12, likely they're gonna tell you to take a higher dose. As your vitamin B12 stores get back up, then you can decrease the amount and just take like a regular amount. So I started off by taking this supplement. So this is Jarrow Formula's Methyl B12. Now is a good time to talk about methylcobalamin and cyanocobalamin. So again, like I said at the beginning of the episode, B12, also known as cobalamin, can be found in different forms. Cyanocobalamin is the form that most supplements are going to have. It's the cheapest way to make B12. The nice thing though about methyl B12 or methylcobalamin, like this one, has to do with chemistry. So it has fewer breakdown steps than the cyanocobalamin has when we ingest it. So our body doesn't have to work quite as hard with the methylcobalamin to get it ingested, get it digested into our system and get it absorbed. A lot of people say it's more bioavailable. That's all that means. So cyanocobalamin is still fine to take. It's gonna get digested in the body, it just takes a bit more energy. Really, either is fine. I just chose the methyl B12 because I actually really like the flavor of these. These are 1,000 micrograms per one tablet. So honestly, like when I was taking these, I wasn't even taking them every day. It was like maybe every other day, you know, when I remembered, that kind of thing. Last time I had my B12 checked was about a year ago and it was fine. They're a lemon flavor. And you can chew them up right away, that's what Jack does. Or you can put, what I do is I kind of like put them under my tongue and I just kind of like let it sit there and absorb. They taste really good. They really don't taste like a lot. And this was the cheapest methyl B12 that I could find, and I find it at my local Kroger, and they usually have a coupon for this brand. Now what I'm taking is this. This is a multivitamin. It's by the brand Ritual. This multivitamin is awesome. It's a subscription-based multivitamin that I heard about on one of the podcasts that I listened to. And so it's 30 bucks a month to get this. And so you take 2 of them a day. The really cool thing is it smells like mint. So there's like a little mint capsule in this bottle that makes the vitamins taste like mint. One of the ingredients is omega-3. And so it doesn't have that like fishy algae kind of taste, or it doesn't like give it to you in your mouth or on your breath. It just like tastes really minty, so it's really cool. These have 8 micrograms of B12. They also have folate, which is great because we talked about how the two go together for a lot of our physiological processes. Other ways I get B12 throughout the day are through fortified foods. So my 2 top favorites are nutritional yeast and some kind of plant milk. So this is an unsweetened soy milk. And if we look at the label, it has 50% of our daily needed vitamin B12. I pretty much have nutritional yeast every single day. If you've watched any of my what I eat in a day. If you don't know what nutritional yeast is and you're new to my channel, it is like a cheesy, flaky kind of ingredient. It really mimics the texture and the taste familiarity of like a Parmesan cheese. It's really nutty and cheesy, but it's not cheese. So it's an inactivated yeast, so there's no harm in eating it. It's not like a real growing yeast, but it's naturally really high in B vitamins. It also has fiber, protein, zinc, selenium, like all these amazing things you're getting from nutritional yeast that you wouldn't get with cheese. I love sprinkling this on just about everything other than breakfast foods, unless it's like a tofu scramble, but I put this on salads, in salad dressings, on pasta before I toss it with the sauce, and then I sprinkle a little bit more on Buddha bowls, burrito bowls, in soups, everything. I was doing my research on B12. I found a statement on one of my sources that said that supplementing in fortified foods are actually the safest way to get adequate amounts of vitamin B12. And here's why. So you can, like I said at the beginning, you can get B12 from animal products or ruminant animals that are eating the dirt and the soil from the ground and it's absorbing into their system. But Did you know that in order to get your daily amount of vitamin B12, if you were, say, eating eggs, you would need to eat over 200 eggs a day to get that daily recommended amount, because that is how little B12 is actually in animal products. And okay, maybe you're getting your daily amount of B12 by eating all those eggs, but what else are you getting? You're getting a ton of cholesterol and saturated fat, and that's not good for you. That's gonna be your problem, not the fact that you're low in B12. You're gonna be in a world of hurt with all of that cholesterol and saturated fat. I truly think that even if you're not vegan, even if you're not plant-based, vegetarian, if you are not eating lots of eggs and lots of beef and lots of pork every day, then definitely consider supplementing, or at least book an appointment to your doctor or your healthcare provider and see if they can give you a test for B12 just to see where your levels are at. That way you can decide if you need to supplement or not, or if you really need to be thinking about it. I think it's something great to do every year. I always get it checked along with my vitamin D. I say, can you check my vitamin D and my B12? And there's usually no problem. They always do that for me because it's something that a lot of people are deficient in. Also found another stat that said that the people that have the highest levels of B12 or the most adequate levels of B12 aren't people that eat the most meat. It's the people that eat the fortified foods and supplement. So a lot of people that are, on that natural holistic train are really afraid of supplementing, but that's truly what it is. It's just a supplement to your already healthy diet. And the truth is nowadays, since we're not eating from the ground and we're a very clean society, especially in our first world country and here in the United States that we live in, not getting all of that good bacteria and those micronutrients when our ancestors led a very natural life. So we do need to supplement these days, and every body is different. Like I said, some people absorb better than others. So just know your body, get your levels checked, and determine for yourself if this is the right move for you. I will leave links to all of the sources that I used to create this video. You can check them out if you want to do a little extra light reading. Now it's time to take a look at what I ate in a day and look at my sources of B12 for the day. So you'll see I put the Ritual multivitamin up here just so I could get the levels of B12 that go with it. So if we scroll down, see everything I ate. There's my nutritional yeast. There's my soy milk that I talked about. So we'll scroll all the way down and we will see, there it is, B12, cobalamin. And I got 465% of my daily recommended needs. So I got 11.2 micrograms. Over the percentage, we can see the top sources, and they were, of course, the Ritual multivitamin, the nutritional yeast, and the soy milk. All right, guys, I really hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know your requests down below for the next nutrient, micronutrient, different health topic you want to see an in-depth video on next. Type the name of the nutrient with a little smiley face, and then I will know that that is your request, and I'll tally them up and try to do that one next. If you haven't already, make sure you follow me on Instagram. I'm at Jordan Lee Waddell. You can see lots more of what I eat in a day on my stories and in my pictures that I post every day and recipes. Make sure you subscribe, and with that, I will see you guys next week for another video.